What's going on, friends? The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast is brought to you by A&E Heating and Cooling, amongst others. They'll even go to Rochester, New York, if you pay them enough. Thanks again to A&E Heating and Cooling. You can reach out to Joe at 616-516-8579. Thank you, Joe. He just signed up for another 3 months of marketing on the podcast. Okay, so this is the time of year, man, hell, the furnace is kicking on. It's getting cold. It's, it's dropping down into the 30s at night around here. So, hey, make sure before you fire that thing up, you get the thing tuned up. It's just $79. Now, most dudes who are worth anything in this industry, that's about what they'll charge. However, Joe is in with this show. Okay, so it's super important that you engage the sponsors or else we don't do this. 616-516-8579. That's right. I'm holding you hostage. Okay? But when it comes to like a big job, like an install, Joe will beat anybody. I can promise you that. If you do decide to go that route and get a brand new high-efficiency furnace installed, you'll get the best price. Go ahead and get other estimates from some other people in town. And get them first, and then get Joe last. Whatever, even if he doesn't beat it, just say, well, these guys beat you. He'll say, well, I just beat them. You'll get a $450 furnace rebate from DTE because they like it when you get a high-efficiency furnace. They want you to use less fuel. Okay, thank you, A&E Heating and Cooling. I do cameos. Sign up at cameo.com/Eric Zane. Just $15. Sign up. They're a lot of fun. Birthdays, anniversaries, new job, new boyfriend, old boyfriend, doesn't matter. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. And of course, the legends in the flooring industry, flooring installation, Bennett Flooring Installation. If you are in and around West Michigan, call upon Bennett Flooring Installation, 616-318-0167. They show up, they measure, they say, yep, what do you want installed here? And they're going to say, carpet. We already have that picked out. It's all set. Okay, well, the install of what you bought will cost you this much. And you go, oh, well, why the hell were we waiting? That's at least what I said. Call upon Bennett Flooring Installation, 616-318-0167. This is the 13th of October, 2020. The Eric Zane Show podcast begins now. I don't know what that was.
Yes, hello. Sean Gotti here, coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's not a single radio show around here that's worth a damn. So I'm listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast, coming to you live Monday through Friday. So sit back, get your trays in the upright position, feet and elbows out of the aisle, because here he comes, Eric Zane.
Thank you very much, Sean. He's a shit kicker from Raleigh, North Carolina. And welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. This is a daily show where I cover news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Been doing it for going on 2 years. I'll do it for as long as you have me back. So thank you very much for the support. All right, very good. Very good. We got a lot of things, a lot of ground to cover today. All right. First off, I'm going to introduce you to someone that a lot of you do not like. There are 0 satisfied customers right now concerning Karl from Who Are These Podcasts. Karl will be my guest at about 8:30. Now, Karl actually is a great dude. He's really funny. And it seems like I'm having a hard time convincing you people of this shit. But I'm telling you, the dude's funny. I don't know if it's because, actually, a lot of people, they listen to the segment of Karl's show on Who Are These Podcasts where they rip me a new one, Karl and Andy. And then they listen to the rest of it and they're like, oh, God, it was fucking terrible. It was boring. Look, there's a learning curve on any show. So, yeah, they fucking made fun of me. All right, big deal. I know my brother-in-law. Tell you what, one satisfied customer. My brother-in-law, Mike, loved it. He's like, oh, my God. In fact, hold on. Let me go over the blow-by-blow of the message exchange with my brother-in-law. This is fantastic. This is the guy that I call Charity Scam Mike. I informed Mike. I gave him all the background of what went on with the folks from Who Are These Podcasts. And so I talked to him late last week. I go, okay, so when this drops, I'm going to send it to you. I want you to hear what they do to me. I sent it. And yesterday, 9:41 p.m., I'm laying in bed. OMG, a million exclamation points. And then he writes, oh, man. And I wrote, horrible. And he wrote, what the fuck? Holy shit, I'm in the middle right now. Man, they're eating you alive. I love it. He says, ha, 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 ha. I wrote, that guy Karl will be on the show on Tuesday. I'll send you that as a follow-up. Those fuckers. He wrote, oh, dude, love how they killed free beer and hot wings at the beginning. And then he wrote, college is over, which is one of their quotes. And then I wrote, haha, yeah, that was a little weird. And then he wrote, oh, my God. And then he quoted them when they said, how lonely do you have to be if you need 3 hours of Eric Zane in your life every day? And then he says, and they so nail you on your asshole dogs. Oh, my God, I'm going to have to step in here. You have to be stopped. I guess he's trying to say I need some type of intervention. And I wrote, yeah, those assholes. He said, LMAO, you do need a sidekick. Oh, my God, now they're making fun of you about your rant about Wally. He says, you way undersold this. God, I think he's drunk because I can't read. He's typing things that aren't words. The nuts thing, they only halfway get you. Oh, my God, the comeback. I have so much to say. Oh, my God, wow. And then he says, now these guys are loving you. And I said, yeah, it's a vicious roast. He said, they're being disarming. My God. Show best. Fucking stupid. I'm not sure. Dude, this is good for you, he says. They love you. Wait, now they're back to dogging you. Man, I can't wait to talk to you about this. Okay, I'm finished now. That's a huge bump for you. I love that they dog you but respect you. I don't know if that's true. That was amazing. That's a good contact. Love you, bro. So, one satisfied customer. But, I mean, I got nothing but pissed off people saying, oh, man, I fucking couldn't handle it. So boring. Yeah, if you don't know the background, the reason why I like the show was because of the inside radio stuff. This guy, I suspect he's a radio guy. Again, I don't know shit about Karl. But he's got a really good ear for it. And so, I don't know. I just like the inside scope of it and the ripping that he does. And then, and I don't know, maybe some of you were like hurt on my behalf or mad on my behalf, but it's okay, believe me. I didn't actually, I was looking at their subreddit. It's like I'm non-existent because they do a show recap and no one really said anything about me. I have no idea. Maybe it was just kind of like, whatever. I think the episode to the average listener of that show was kind of like, shrug, it wasn't that great. But what they focus most on is the ripping of Stuttering John and fucking Opie, which from Opie and Anthony. And that's one of the things I want to know about this is from Karl is why? What the fuck is going on there that you so have a hard on for these two guys? So I'll introduce you to Karl in about 10 minutes. Dak Prescott. My God. This guy gets no love from, well, you know, what the fuck is the moron's name? The dude, the white guy. It's leaving my brain. Shit. Shannon Sharp and help me. Anyway, white guy who makes all the comments about everybody. He gets no love from him, as you know. But Tony Dungy? Tony Dungy? Really? He's like the nicest guy in the world. How could he possibly say something bad about Dak Prescott and about his injury? Okay? His comments immediately after Prescott's foot nearly fell off on the field on Sunday, which, son of a bitch, as far as muppety, flippity, crackety, crunchety things, that was really bad. You could actually see the bottom of the bone just protruding. It was so bad. It almost came out of the skin. It almost popped out of the skin, but did not. Thank God. Holy shit. All right, I'll play for you that slip of the tongue. Speaking of a slip of the tongue, A meteorologist drops a horrible word on TV. Thank you, Kenny. This happened just the other night in Nashville. She's on TV, and no one really picked up on it. He did, and he sent it along. This isn't one of those ones that's going viral. Maybe it will eventually, but I looked it up to see if Bree Smith in Nashville, Tennessee, the meteorologist, was trending. She is not. But boy, is it funny. Why in the world does Bill Burr, a comedian, continually do things that aren't fucking funny? Okay. This guy is an enigma. Because if you pay attention to Bill Burr's stand-up, or when he's interviewed, or when he's in a film, he's so good. I mean, there is a lot of upside to Bill Burr, there's no doubt. But, man, that guy fucking swings and misses more times than anybody else who's really, really popular. Holy shit, does he fucking miss. If you ever listen to his podcast, which I think Karl has reviewed at some point, man, it is a tough listen. If you think this was a tough slog, I think that one's even tougher. But son of a bitch, he did some skit on SNL. He was part of SNL just this past weekend, and he did this really unfunny shit bit. Holy crap. I'll talk about that. A maniac in Maine decided he wanted to hurt people by tampering with food. This is fucked. And a sheriff near where I live loves hanging out with local domestic terrorists. That's right. For a lot of you, you don't know the name Dar Leaf, but it's true. This sheriff is such an asshole, and I cannot wait to introduce you to him. Talked about this a little bit on the Patreon yesterday. Okay. Top of mind, though, I know you all are like, hey, Zane, what's up with your mom? And, I don't, if I had it my way, I wouldn't open up every show after I tell you what's coming up and on the intro with a donation, what the fuck? God damn it. I'm reading the word donation because I'm talking about my kidney later on, and then it pops out of my mouth. Damn it! I don't really want to open up with something that's so not funny, but I know you're all worried about my mom. So yeah, okay. From what I'm understanding, things are kind of looking up, but it's going to take a long time for my mother, who's very, very, very much an elderly lady, to recover from this. And this is classic COVID. It loves to beat up our elderly people who have these comorbidities. That's my mom. Wally's fine. Oh my God, he's probably out, swimming or something right now. Maybe he's golfing for all I know. The guy he's strong as a horse. The doc says mom's stable, will gradually improve. It's going to be a while. As to what extent, the doc didn't say. She's on 7 liters of O2. It's not it's just like the little, tubes going in her nose. No, she doesn't have a respirator. Her blood saturation is 95%. That's very good. Okay, excellent. They took another blood draw. They said the hemoglobin has stabilized. That's the component of your blood that carries oxygen to important parts of your body, to your whole body. And that had been an issue. That's okay now. The kidney doctor will be in tomorrow to assess her status. He explained that this is what COVID does and that her x-rays aren't showing her lungs having issues. Great. Okay, that's huge. So it's a lot, but I think there's a lot of good stuff in that update. So I know you all are thinking about that, and I appreciate that. You're keeping her in your thoughts and in your prayers. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, on to more health stuff. Before we get fucking Karl on here, who claims to know everything about fucking podcasting, yet he uses copywritten material on his fucking show, which I played yesterday, which meant it played on my show, which meant I got a strike on YouTube. Thanks, Karl. You're the gift that keeps giving, dick. All right. Just kidding. Kind of. Thursday, the guy who I want to give a kidney to has a stress test. And this is the last thing. It's a formality. I've told you this. I was given the green light to give it. Dude was given the green light to take it. The only thing that can screw this up is if they throw him on the exercise equipment to get the stress test to see how strong his heart and lungs are, and it's horrible. It's just, they're like, you're so weak, man. The second we even look at you, you're going to die on the operating table. That's not going to happen. Dude has been just grinding out the Peloton workouts. Actually, he said, man, I'm like freaking Lance Armstrong before everybody found out he cheated. I am strong like bull. I'm going to crush this thing. So there you go. Once that happens, okay, once the test takes place, then they got to look at all the data that they collect from dude. I don't know how long that's going to take. It won't take long. And then they go, that's it, man. You are golden. Get that Eric from Michigan out here to sunny California. Fly him out. Let's schedule this thing, and boom, done. So that's what I'm waiting on. So that will be a spectacular thing, I'm sure. I'll keep you posted. This has been, it is almost 5 months. May 17th, I believe, is when we got started. So May, June, July, August, September, October. So in just a handful of days, we will be 5 months in on this big adventure. And thanks again for thinking of me and keeping me in your thoughts too. And my pal as well. Okay, I also got to talk about this. There's a lot of health shit going on in the local radio scene. I do still have people that I talk to from previous gigs, and I wanted to take a quick moment to also express my thoughts towards Connie from Connie and Fish in Grand Rapids. Cancer has reared its ugly fucking head again, and she is struggling. And there was an announcement made. Apparently, she called into her show, Connie and Fish, yesterday. She has been out for some time, and she gave an update. This is from the Mix 95.7 gr.com page. And she's just a brilliant, brilliant lady. I mean, just the sweetest. She's super talented. I mean, my God, really, really great. Connie called into the show and shared some news that no one wanted to hear. This is from Wendy. Connie's cancer diagnosis is incurable stage 4 liver cancer. The news came as a shock because the doctors told her that the liver cancer she has is extremely rare and usually only found in people who are much older. Connie's liver is enlarged and the cancer has spread from the liver to the blood vessels surrounding it, making a transplant and surgery impossible. Connie shared with us that she will start treatment soon, and that will be basically be immunotherapy to slow the spread of the cancer. The treatment is not designed to cure the cancer, but instead to make her feel better. That's just a brief synopsis of what she told the audience and the coworkers during the 15-minute call, which you can listen to below. I'll link it up for you to check this out. And know that Connie is extremely grateful for everyone who has sent their love, thoughts, and prayers. There are tons of people who have been reaching out, and it's hard. And it's hard for Connie to respond to everyone, but she is reading everything that is sent to her, so just know that your message will make it to her, but you might not receive one back right away. All right, Connie. We're thinking about you. Man, that is tough. All right, before we get Karl in here, my God, it would be really crazy if he called while I was doing the ads, which he was busting me about. Shut up, Karl, you poor fuck. Somebody's got to earn money around here. You plain slap and tickle. You can sell something, you dumb dick. JM Synthetics. Buy stuff from them. JMSynthetics.com. I'll give you this hat for free. This one dude just bought one, and he immediately emails Amsoil saying, hey, where's my hat? They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, dude, that's from me only. What are you doing? I still have a few more hats remaining. JMSynthetics.com. Go there to buy your Amsoil products. Oil, any type of lubricant. Okay, here we go. Karl, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Eric, how's it going, buddy?
You caught me, believe it or not, in the middle of advertisements.
I think you planned it that way, my friend.
Holy shit, Karl. Thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, take your time. Let me know when you're ready.
No, I'm ready. I'll put the brakes on that for you, for anything, unless you want to hear me talk about like motor oil and guns.
It's one of my favorite things you do is read ads. I love, the fact that 50% of the show doesn't bother me at all. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it was Andy who said, it's like it's a local show with a national. I go, yeah, you dumb fuck. Well, what the fuck else is it going to be? My God.
You had a hard time getting over that.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to come in with some energy this morning. I was watching your show leading up to this. We're having kind of a bummer of a show today.
Oh, I know.
Crap.
I had to. You see, it's all about priorities, and I was considering going that road late, but I sometimes I wanted to start out a little bit about my pal Connie in Grand Rapids, but no big deal, And then my mom.
I was glad to hear that. That's terrible.
Yeah. She's really talented too, and then I just love her. And then my mom is kind of good news, and the kidney thing is good news. So it's all good. So except
very
for
emotional day here with Karl from Who Are These Podcasts?
Yeah, I actually started to tear up a little bit. I do that a lot. You probably spared me because you may have seen that in last week's show. I actually started to cry on the podcast about Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Oh, and so thank you for sparing me because I thought you were going to go, look at this pussy or say something horrible.
I'm also a huge Eddie Van Halen fan. So,
dude, how about that, man? My God, Jesus, it's just unbelievable. What a terrible year it's been. So.
Well, the one good thing about it is it gets everybody talking about Van Halen again and playing Van Halen again. I went back and revisited A Different Kind of Truth, the album they put out in 2012 when they brought David Lee Roth back in. That album is fantastic. It does not get any play. I know the song Tattoo is not that great, but it really is a great album. You should check it out.
Oh, yeah. Stay Frosty. I love that song.
Yeah.
And then he has...
Chinatown. A lot of good tunes.
Yeah, I like... And there's a song called She's a Woman or something like that. She's the Woman. Yep. So, yeah, I'm all about it. And I actually liked the song Tattoo because Dave's just gritty in it. And, his voice is a little crispy, but he ends up making it happen. So what the hell?
It's not a bad song. I just... that's like the song everyone knows from it. That was the single, and I feel like there's a lot better songs on the album.
Right, man. Yeah, rest in peace, Eddie. Well, all right, Karl, let's get into this, man. First of all, are you an old radio guy? Because you have it seems like almost like the program director's thought process. It's like shit.
It's the best compliment I receive, and I've received it from a few people, so thank you for that. I just am a fan. I just listened to radio growing up. I loved sports radio, political, comedy, listened to it all and really got into it. And then, Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony and just listened to them every single day. So that's kind of how I learned.
Have you ever been approached by a radio station to offer your 2 cents or any type of consulting, or have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't done that. I play in bands and stuff, and I used to do a lot of local morning radio. And I was offered gigs to come on and write parody songs and things like that, but never consulting work from Who Are These Podcasts.
So you're kind of taking the page of Anthony Cumia. His story is phenomenal. How he got his start in radio. It was a lot like that, doing parody songs for Howard and Opie.
Yeah, correct. And in fact, I would say Anthony's a big reason why Who Are These Podcasts took off, because we made fun of Opie Radio. Episode number 107 that we put out. So we've been doing it for a couple of years already. We put out Opie Radio. Anthony went on his show and said, holy crap, I've listened to these guys' podcasts. They know Opie better than I know Opie. It's unbelievable. And then he had me on his show a couple months later, and we talked about it, and he's helped promote the show quite a bit. So he's been, maybe that's why. Maybe he recognizes the same kind of thing. He was a big fan and just started going on shows and then got hired.
Did you read Anthony's book? You had to have, right?
I own Anthony's book. I've yet to read it.
Oh my God, dude! There's just there's I only started to listen to Opie and Anthony probably maybe like a year and a half before the Sex for Sam incident at St. Patrick's, And so
Yep.
what I did gather, I immediately was drawn to Anthony. So, reading his book and about some of the history of that show was all new to me, stuff that I didn't know. So it was very interesting and a great read. You should dive into it, but it sounds like you're a very busy man.
No, it's on my list. I'll definitely get around to it. I do know a lot about their history, and have studied a lot with Opie and Anthony and their careers.
All right. So I'm kind of bouncing around here, but this is kind of something that when you got onto my radar, have you thought about the whole process of when here I am alone discovering your show, which you heard that story, how I found out about you, and I actually within 5 minutes of listening to it, I had the actual thought where I said to myself, boy, I sure hope I am never featured on this show. And then fast forward, here we are. Oh, my God.
Well, you did email me and sent me a note with the clips of your show saying, I hope I'm not featured on the show, which is kind of a nod to say, but, if I get featured on the show,
no, dude.
so bad.
No. I was doing that simply to get out in front and save face and hope that maybe if I kiss his ass enough, he will not. He'll actually like the show. But fuck, you did not fall for that in any way, shape, or form. And then here we are.
Well, also you can blame a listener of yours, Garrett, who reached out to me because we're doing this month all radio guys. We're doing Jocktober.
Right.
So Garrett reached out and said you should do Eric Zane, and he found out about us from you when you talked about us back in July.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
Things have a way of working out, I suppose.
Now, has anybody approached you trying to get you to do my old show, Free Beer and Hot Wings?
Well, no, but now that we talked about it, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, I used to listen to that show, or that show's still on where I live." It wasn't really on my radar, but now I'm hearing about it.
Okay, all right. I noticed that in our episode, the episode that you featured me, and by the way, thank you for that because, honestly, at the end of the day, it all works out, and it's all a matter of how you take this because I've had an opinion about your show, which I like it, and to me, there's no harm in it. Some of my audience didn't like it, but that's okay. But in my opinion, if you take this with a smile on your face, it's actually going to help you in the long run.
Well, I will tell you, I listened to your review of our review. I knew you would take it in stride. You have a great attitude about this. It seems like, from what I've learned about you, you've kind of changed your attitude and how you work and how you process things. And so I really appreciate that. I always say, if you don't like what we say, then just roast us back and be funnier. Because I treat everything like a roast. Like if someone says something bad about us, I typically just play it on our show.
Right.
I'll laugh along because that's the only attitude to have. Like we're all here just busting balls.
Right, man.
All just trying to have some fun.
Karl, did you so can you tell me how the whole thing got started? Because I'm really interested in the history of the show. Who are these podcasts?
Sure. So a buddy of mine who moved out to Seattle, he and I were talking about starting a podcast, and he does stand up and he's done a lot of comedy and things. So I came up with the idea of Who Are These Podcasts, and it's based on a segment on Opie and Anthony called Jocktober. Every October, a lot of stations would go to Rocktober, they would go to Jocktober. And what they would do is pick out a morning show from a different market every morning and play clips of it and goof on it.
Right.
Are you familiar with Jocktober?
Well, yeah. In fact, Free Beer and Hot Wings, when I was on that show, they actually featured us.
Oh, so you know how that seems to work then.
The
would get on you. The whole thing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I used to really enjoy that segment of their show, Jocktober. I really liked, but they would just goof on it and make jokes and make fun of whoever the woman was on the show for being a hole and all those kind of things that they would do. Our show is a little bit different. I also take some influence from the No Agenda Show, which is another podcast, John C. Dvorak and Adam Curry. And what they do is they pull clips from the news media and kind of analyze them. And they'll try to break down behind the scenes why it is scripted this way, why do the sound effects come in the way they do, what's the propaganda angle of it. So it's more of an analysis. So it's kind of a combination of goofing on people, but also, I think you pointed this out, there is an analysis aspect to it where we kind of point out, well, these are the things that people could be doing better, and this is why the podcast isn't as good as it could be, or this is why they're doing things the way that they're doing them, and try to dig into that. I think a lot of people, especially people who are into radio, love the behind the scenes
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. And that's one of my biggest things. In fact, I had takeaways that I talked about it yesterday that I want things that I had told myself, but hearing it from you, it has more punch. Reading the comments on my podcast, especially the free one, is the kiss of death for momentum. And I fucking knew that, and I've still done it. And sometimes you're just drawn to it, you know? And then for me, and they love it. The handful of people that are on actually watching live, they enjoy it. But if you're talking big picture here, it's it's horrible, you know? Hearing you tell me about it, I'm like, I gotta fucking stop doing that.
I understand. We have a few dozen people who watch us live too. Not watch, but they listen along. And I'm looking at the chat as it's going through, kind of out of the one side of my eye, just to see what's going on. Sometimes there's funny things going on, and you want to talk about it, but yeah, it just gets you derailed so quick. You have to resist. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, now in the early stages of your show, you're kind of doing it, and you're at it, and you're starting from scratch. You have no audience the day you start your podcast, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, this is great. This is one of my favorite things because, and you guys touched on this. You and Andy touched on this. That I'm blessed because when I left radio, I was able to pick up this chunk of people, drop them down, and here they are, and that's awesome, you know. But I don't have. You didn't have that luxury, but your show has grown one at a time at a pretty fast pace, considering the amount of time you've been doing it and the large number of people that are listening now. That has to be incredibly rewarding as you've grown the show.
It's better than I ever expected it to be, for sure. My goal going into this was I was hoping to have a podcast that was relevant enough that I could go on other people's shows. That was kind of my thing, like, oh, it's Karl from Who Are These Podcasts? And just the idea that we've been able to grow it to the extent that we have. You know, you goofed on us for not getting sponsors and turning this into a job. We do have sponsors. We have a Patreon. We are turning this into a business. So that's been beyond my expectations.
Yeah, if you spend 1/2 hour less per day being a cock and selling it, you'd be rich. No, I'm busting your balls, of course. But no, and here's the thing, and you're right, you know. I do have to treat this like a local show because I don't have the luxury. I can't get any national sponsors. I don't have the audience to do that. So I got to fucking sell it out of my car until I can ever get to that point, if that even happens.
Well, I understand. I don't know if you know my friends over at the Drew and Mike show, but those guys have a similar situation that you do. In fact, I'm doing their show later today. They're great, but they're in Detroit, and all of their ads are about dealerships around them and things like that. So I get it.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that is a terrific template. That's it. And they have a lot of people on that show and are able to do it. And so I give them tons of respect for that. And, you know, it's really interesting to me because radio is just a fucking God. It's a weird spot, and I, you know, as much as I loved it, and I wouldn't have this if it weren't for radio. But man, when you have if the world that I live in doesn't have Drew and Mike on the radio, the Drew and Mike show, that is fucking crazy to me, considering what that show did. I mean, we're talking. Not only were they the highest rated morning show in Detroit, but if you were to look at comparatively the number of audience percentage-wise with population, it was like the largest in the country, I mean, for a period of time. And how the fuck there isn't a value on that for some fucking radio station in Detroit to put that show on the air is beyond me.
Yeah, well, I think Drew had a gig, and he just finally got fed up with it and quit because they were talking about sports too much. He just said, "That's fine. I don't want to be on a sports or a sports radio show."
Yeah,
and decided to start the podcast. Honestly, Eric, I think that's the way it's going. Right? You have Howard Stern who left terrestrial. You don't have Opie and Anthony anymore. You don't have Don and Mike anymore. I think a lot of these shows that were big with big audiences are finding bigger audiences by going digital than they can over the analog airwaves. Right?
Well, yeah, you know, and God bless them. You know, thank God that there's something that is out there and they can stay relevant. And that's that. Honestly, when I got fired in 2019, I took one day off and then I did this podcast, and I didn't know how this was going to go. But I threw a Patreon up there and didn't know how it was going to work, but the response was so big. That's when I said, well, I'm just going to say fuck it and do it, and then ask questions later. And that was 2 years ago, so I haven't had to do anything else but this. So thank God for that. But if it hadn't been for the audience diving in and realizing that there's something there, I'd have been screwed. So, yes.
Well, you talked about a potential radio gig. You were talking to someone about some morning show or something. Honestly, and you asked me if I had been approached, I wouldn't go to a radio station. I'd much prefer to do a podcast. There's much more potential for the podcast in American radio.
What I was referring to, though, was I would, because me, honestly, it's about dollars and cents. I'm just trying to keep the lights on. And so if I had if I worked mornings and then got out of work at 11, came home and did what I'm doing right now, in addition,
sure,
that's what I was thinking. But it probably won't happen anyway. But if it did, I wouldn't hate it because I love radio. Now, after about 3 months, I might hate it. You never know. But I don't know. There's some real ego in there, Karl, because when you get shown the door in a career that you love, and then you just kind of you're always like, oh God, I want to come back. It's like the NFL quarterback who's 50 years old, or Brett Favre or some shit. You get drawn into that. At least I do, and so it's kind of messed up.
That makes sense. So I want to point something out that you mentioned yesterday, that I'm anti-radio and I have all these rules about podcasting and things that the point that I try to make is that radio guys specifically have these habits that they bring over to podcasts. I noticed this with Opie right away, where he's doing this check-in like, hey, just a reminder that we're with so-and-so down at blah, blah, blah. And he would do these check-ins like regularly throughout the show. And it's like, the way you listen to podcasts is linear. They're not coming in for 15 minutes at a time at any time. And I know with radio, I have to keep resetting, talk about what you talked about, talk about what you're going to talk about. And it's this constant resetting because it's a new audience for 15 minutes. A podcast is people listen straight through. And I get it. You have the live audience.
Right.
All right. That's a good point.
Well, that's the only reason. That
keep resetting things.
Yeah, that is the only reason, the live audience. Because right now someone just clicked and said, who is this guy? What's going on? And they don't know. Now, so it's that type of thing. So, I mean, not a huge deal by any stretch, but I got to give it to you. That was the first thing I thought, that when I heard you talking, I was like, holy crap, what is this guy is an ex-program director or something. He's got to have some serious skills. Karl, as you grew the show, it starts to take off. You talked about all the stuff with Opie. It had to be a big thrill when someone who you listen to reaches out to you and says, join me on my show at Compound Media.
It was unbelievable. We flew out to New York City, got to go on with Anthony, and I wasn't sure what that appearance was going to be like. But it turned out when you listen to someone on the radio for years, you kind of know that person. So sitting down and talking to him was like talking to a friend. It was the most comfortable thing and the most easy thing to do. And then a year later, I went down and did Jim Norton's show, the Chip Chipperson podcast, as well as Anthony's show again. And it's just been surreal. It's people I listened to for years on the radio, and now we're having conversations, and they know my show, and I know their show. It's been fantastic.
Okay. Now, for the audience who isn't aware, Karl on his show, Who Are These Podcasts? Every show he features someone similar to what happened to me when he covered my show. But then every show you talk about Opie and you talk about Stuttering John, correct? And that happens every show, pretty much?
Just about. I was trying to get away from John for a while, but he keeps talking about me, so I've been talking about him. And Opie sometimes gets a little boring, but yeah, for the most part, we talk about those two guys, yeah.
Okay. I guess my question is why? Why do you keep going back to that?
Okay, so one of the things that I've learned is having the familiar segments actually builds a narrative. And I liked doing the one-off shows every single week, and every single episode you could just listen to, and it didn't matter if you heard the week before or the week after, and I think that's great. And so we still do that with the first segment of the show, making fun of whatever podcast we're doing.
Yeah.
But having the segments after that, I think is really compelling for the audience, because here we are talking about Stuttering John, and Stuttering John used to have a co-host and do this show out of the studio, and then the co-host left and he went to his house, And it's like been this saga that's been going on, and we're interacting with each other. He's threatening to sue me, making fun of him even more. So it kind of a little more compelling for the audience as we go back and forth. So John is because he interacts with us. Opie is because people responded to the Opie radio show that we did so much that we brought in a ton of people who are old O&A fans who love bashing Opie. So that's been an ongoing excitement just because I think people really enjoy it.
Do you think if Opie was extremely friendly and kind and congenial and everything else happened to him the same way, this would be happening?
No, I don't.
Wow. So these are all people that come out of the woodwork have an axe to grind against the guy.
I couldn't believe this. So what happened was I put that episode out. Someone converted it into a YouTube video. This is the Opie radio thing that I did over 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago now. And someone converted it into a YouTube video. It had 100,000 views in the first day. It just got out everywhere. And I was getting notes from people who used to produce the Opie and Anthony show back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was getting notes from interns, from people who worked on the show saying, "You are so right about this guy. He is such an asshole to work with. Keep it up." And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm just making fun of this guy's podcast. And there were so many people who reached out who didn't want to be named. It was just like, yes, you nailed it. This guy's the worst.
Has Opie reached out to you?
No, Opie never has. Opie, so his producer has reached out to me. I've had him on my show a couple of times. He's belonged to the producer. That's Mike Sappho. His old co-host, Karl Ruiz,
yes,
actually would interact with us a little bit on Twitter. So he would acknowledge us. But Opie has never acknowledged us.
And rest in peace, Karl. Correct, he passed away. Not that long ago, really.
It was about a year ago, yeah.
Man, it's really weird to me that he's not. Is he hard up for money at all? Do you think? Or is he broke?
He's a multi-millionaire.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense doing that.
So he's just doing this for fucking fun. Then he's not like he doesn't have any plans to expand it because he's not really motivated, right?
Well, he does have sponsors. I don't know what his plans are because it's going in the wrong direction. But he does have sponsors, and he continues to do it consistently. Yeah,
it actually bothers me that someone like him, who was at such a level, and at one point he was very hungry and aggressive professionally, has turned to this. Basically he just walks around with his Zoom microphone or whatever the fuck it is and just talks to people on the street or does a Facebook Live and walks around. That's his podcast.
Yeah, his podcast is just a Facebook live stream. Typically he's just facing out over the beach because he lives in the Hamptons and he's looking out at the beach. So you got the camera just facing the beach and he's just talking to people in the chat room. And he puts that out as a half-an-hour episode of Opie Radio. It's terrible.
It makes me sad. It really makes me sad when I hear it. And it makes me sad when I hear John, too, because I'm like, fuck, holy shit. Do you ever feel bad when you're roasting somebody, Karl?
No, I honestly don't. I don't say anything that's personal for the most part, and I pretty much keep it to what sucks about their show.
Can you tell me, Karl, how much time it takes to actually put a show together?
Yeah, it takes longer and longer. The more I've been doing this, the more prep I've been putting into it. So typically I'll do a couple hours of prep during the week, and then Saturday morning, we record at 2 o'clock on Saturdays. Saturday morning, I get started around 8 a.m. I work straight through until 2. We record for 2.5 hours, and then Sunday morning I get up, edit it all, and put it out. That's another 3 or 4 hours. So it's a good 15 plus hours for every episode.
And that includes the time it takes you to listen to Opie's show and all those things. Oh, because you have to listen to not only the show that you're reviewing, but you have to listen to John. You have to pull clips from Opie or whoever, right?
Yeah. Thank God you can listen to podcasts at a sped up speed, because I'll just put it on my phone. I'll listen to it and I'll put little notes in there with timestamps so that on Saturday morning when I sit down to pull all my clips and prep the show, I have a lot of the work already done.
My God. That is this the only thing that you do, or do you have like a regular job?
So I did. I was a partner at a marketing company, and recently decided to part ways with that marketing company. So this is right now kind of the only thing that I'm doing. I also have another podcast called The Creep Off that is a show I do with my buddy Vinny Paulino on Mondays. But yeah, other than that, just podcasting right now.
You were featured on Chrissy Mayr's podcast last week. It was a video podcast that she does, and I saw you on that show, Karl, and you told a story about you exploited or talked about a podcast that features missing persons, and they tried to cancel you. Isn't that right?
Marissa Jones, the host of a show called The Vanished, was not happy with our review, and this is before we were a very big podcast. So the episode that we put out about her show, and her show's huge, the episode that we put out probably had 200 to 300 downloads, and she got so upset that she turned all of her listeners onto it because she wanted them to come after me and try to get me fired from my job in real life. And, yeah, it was interesting because we weren't really well known at the time, and that was kind of our first spike, was her going after us. And we did eventually take the show down because there was so much pressure. I was getting the company that I worked for and my business partner were getting bombarded with people trying to get me fired. So eventually I was like, fine, we'll just take it down. So she got her way, but at the same time, not as many people would have heard that episode if not for her telling everyone about it.
Yes, that's how it always works out, isn't it?
Right.
I think there's only one knock on you from me personally, and my knock on you is this: not the show that I was on, but the week earlier, you had a guest host by the name of Chad Zumock. And
yeah, you have a strong opinion about Chad, don't you?
My passion is still hot. I want to kick that fucker's ass. Oh,
a lot of people felt that way after that episode. Yeah,
and my knock on you is that in subsequent discussions, you have said words that I don't like, and those words are, "I thought it was okay."
I didn't think it was okay. I thought we were doing all right for a while.
No, you were fine. But that cocksucker kept blocking you. You even said, "Jesus, would you give me a yes and once in a while?" Oh my God. Oh, shit.
I got a little frustrated. I'll tell you why, Eric. You'll understand this. When you prep a show, and you do a ton of prep, you know what you're going to talk about. You got all your notes there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of work. So I prep the show. I have all of my clips and my notes. And if you're going to co-host with me, like, let's play along. This is what we're going to do. He was stopping me from playing the clips or talking about what I wanted to talk about. Eventually, I was just like, all right, if you don't want to be on the show with me, that's fine. I'll just move on. I just kind of had to tell him, like, oh, bye, great talking to you. And I did the rest of the show without him.
And you actually gave him the benefit of the doubt. And you said, I think he was trolling me. Dude, there's no way.
No, now that I know that he reached out to Stuttering John and was complaining to John about it, now I don't think he was trolling me because I thought he was joking that he liked John because John gave him a retweet. We're getting really inside baseball right now, but
yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
If you're following the saga, this guy Chad Zumock came on, and I even talked to him on the phone the day before. This is the crazy part. I don't usually do this, but I talked to him on the phone. I've never talked to him before, and I said, "Hey, are you comfortable with talking about Stuttering John? Because I don't know what people's relationships are. I know that especially if you're in the stand-up comedy world, you don't want to burn bridges." So I said, "Are you comfortable talking about Stuttering John?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I know you guys always talk about John." I was like, "All right, great." And then he comes on and totally sandbags it and says, well, John's a great guy, and John retweeted me once, and so I don't have anything bad to say about him. I'm like, yeah, but he's drunk on his show. That's what we're talking about. I don't care if he retweeted you or not.
Right.
He's how drunk he is, and he wouldn't say anything. So I'm like, okay, you're not helping at all.
If you were on my show or one that I was featured on, and Who Are These Podcasts the week before, if you really want to be driven insane and you want to fucking break something, listen to this show with Zumock, who is such an asshole. He goes after this really, really delightful lady named Chrissy Mayr that I mentioned earlier, and I had not heard of her at all. And then he says, well, he said something shitty about everybody except Stuttering John. He talked shit about this guy that they were roasting, the radio host. What was his name again? Something MF?
Well, Maxwell was his name when he was in Cleveland.
Paulie.
He had the Maxwell show, and now it's Paulie MF.
This guy does a shitty show, and Zumock, actually, he was such a dick. People were feeling bad for the Paulie guy who wasn't even there to defend himself. So that was unbelievable. And so that happened. And then he talked shit. I mean, really, okay, it's one thing if you roast Bert Kreischer about his, and you, by the way, you did, I listened to your roast of Bert Kreischer's show. It was some time ago, many episodes ago. And that's all above board. And he would probably admit to all of the things that you suggested about his show. I know I do when you say it about mine. But so it was all fair. Well, he, instead of just going with it, he's just really putting the fucking boots to Bert in a heart. I mean, it was like so terrible. It was way over the top. And then he continues to destroy other people. Everybody he talked about, he ripped them.
Well, he had an axe to grind with all of those people. He had like personal interactions with them where he's pissed at them. And that's not what this show is.
No.
What are these podcasts? Like I said, it's a roast. We're not there because we have a personal vendetta against somebody. Right. So the idea that he came on and he made the Pauly MF thing, which would have been a lot of fun because his show's really bad. He made it a little bit less fun because he was so angry at the guy. That was 10 years ago.
Oh, you could hear it, man. He just has not let it go. It's like, dude, you got to relax, man. And then he goes after this Chrissy Mayer. Again, I don't know who this person is, but she's very big in the industry, and she's a growing comic, and she's been given a platform to do a podcast on Anthony Cumia's platform, Compound Media. So that's cool. I had never heard her, and he just and fucking Karl's trying to tell a story about her and Mitch Fatel talking about John, and he's trying to go on a point, and this asshole keeps talking about how much he hates Chrissy Mayer, and fucking Karl's like, that's not the fucking point, you asshole, shut the fuck up.
Well, I also made the point, Chrissy Mayer and I, we had a little feud going for a while, and I have a whole episode making fun of her, and I even told him, like, Chad, no one's made fun of Chrissy Mayer more than I have. If you want to hear that, it's out there.
Yes.
But that's all we're talking about right now.
Oh, my God. So then I watched your video podcast with Mayer from last week. And by the way, I got a huge crush on her because she's got red hair. And she's awesome. How the fuck would anybody not like Chrissy Mayer? Holy shit. So wait,
who do you like better, Chrissy or Kamala Harris? Who do you have a bigger crush on?
Okay, Chrissy. I like Chrissy better, but it's kind of creepy because she's quite a bit younger than me. Yeah.
Good answer, though.
So, all right, man, I tell you what, this is all good. I pretty much got all my questions in. I got all the shit that I wanted to talk to you about addressed to you. Yeah, man, I'm really excited about what the future holds for you. Just keep it up, man. Just keep grinding, and you'll get there. You'll be even bigger than you are right now before you know it, Karl.
Eric, thank you so much for having me on the show, and I really appreciate all the kind words that you said about it and promoting the show. The other thing that you said yesterday, which I totally agree with, this show is not for everyone. And I don't go around telling all my friends and family to listen to the show because you have to have a certain kind of sick sense of humor to enjoy the way that we go after and roast other podcasts.
Absolutely.
Podcasts.
Well, yeah.
So I appreciate that. Can I ask a quick question of you?
Oh, please.
What was the copyrighted material that fucked up YouTube for you?
I don't know. Is it your music maybe?
The music I wrote, so I don't think that's right.
Okay.
I don't know.
I got a strike or some shit. I can't look at it right now because I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, I got it. Hold on a second. Actually, I can. And
I was sorry to hear that because you weren't playing that much of our show either, so I don't know what would have been in there.
Let me call it up. This is like so inside, but I don't give a shit.
Let's read the chat, too, while we're at it.
Yeah, let's read the chat on the show.
Hey, Eddie from Nashville says, great segment, guys.
You know, it's funny because the specific audience members that you talked about were like, oh, my God, he's going after me, too. Holy shit.
No, we love Kenny.
No, I can't pull it up. Anyway, but listen, one more thing, too, on your subreddit, on your Who Are These Podcasts subreddits, you know, yeah. I'm like, thank God. I mean, you post a show synopsis, and that's where people make comments on Reddit. And Reddit's the fucking Wild West. We all know that. And, I mean, the week before, it was all Zumach all the time. And this week, I wasn't even, they don't give a shit. And I'm like, oh, thank Christ that is happening. Oh, my God. So, that actually worked out. I was like, because honestly, man, I'm such an anxiety-filled bastard that for the whole week, I was like, oh no, here it comes. It's going to be rough. I'm going to get killed. I was excited, but at the same time, very nervous about it, you know?
Well, you're a good guy, and I think that the audience recognizes that, so they weren't going after you very hard at all, so that's good.
Yes, I'll take it. But hey, I appreciate the being featured on it. That's a win for me in my book, and I hope to have you back on sometime down the road, Karl.
Sounds good. Let's keep in touch. Whoarethese.com links to all the things that we're doing.
Thank you.
You can get the show there or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
If I was smart, I would have said that right there. I'm glad you reminded me. Whoarethese.com. Thank you very much for doing that.
I'm a radio vet. That's why I knew to do that.
Yes, you are. All right, Karl, have a great show with Drew and Mike. People can also check him out there, too, today. He does kind of like a mini version of Who Are These podcasts with other people to bounce it off as he's doing it. So, just check out the Drew and Mike show, and off you go.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, buddy. Talk to you down the road. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, buddy. There you go. Karl from Who Are These podcasts. That is sweet. Yeah, man. Fuck, all of these stuff with Stuttering John from the Stern Show and Opie. Oh, my God. I mean, it's just, John gets so pissed. And there's all sorts of, he tries to retaliate, and that's what Karl was talking about, how it establishes a life of its own. I really appreciate him for taking the time to be on this show today. Okay. Thanks again to BK Guns and Stuff. I want you to reach out to them, 616-902-2447. If you need your weaponry fixed anywhere in the United States, call up my friends at BK Guns and Stuff, 616-902-2447, or just get to their Facebook page by clicking on their logo at ericzaneshow.com. Thank you, BK Guns and Stuff. So the gun's broke, you need it refurbished, cleaned. You want an upgrade, you want something custom, call on them first. Thank you, BK Guns and Stuff. All right. And I was also, right when Karl called, I was talking about my friends at JM Synthetics. Do call upon them for all of your lubricants. Amsoil. They invented synthetic motor oil. That's what I want you to call. Amsoil. Reach out to Jason May, 616-747-0233 or jmsynthetics.com. And if you buy anything, I don't care if it's just one thing, I will send you an Eric Zane Show podcast baseball cap. Okay. So the saga ended yesterday around the house here with my wife, Diana, and her damn phone. The least amount of the problems was paying the $200, the deductible on the phone insurance plan that we have. By the way, always buy that. Ours is like $14 a month, and you get like 5 free phones. Not free. You pay the deductible, and you get a new phone. Always get that, because you're going to break your phone. You're going to drop your phone in Lake Michigan. You're going to do that. She did. It has to be replaced. But the issues that go along with it are many. And my God, little bit of background. It seems like whenever she's involved in something like this, it always goes haywire. And I don't want to make her seem like she's an idiot, but these are all very idiotic things that are happening. Okay, there is no question. These are high on the idiot level. Okay, and a little bit of background. This week has been weird for her because I talked about this a little bit in an earlier show. Actually, it was yesterday. She set up a bank account for her brother, for Kevin, after David passed, because the account that Kevin had, Dave's name was in it. So they go to the bank that he's always gone to, and they say, yeah, we want to do it differently now. Instead of Dave's name on it, the deceased, it's going to be Diana and Kevin. All they got to do is open up the account, put all the money into it. Now, that's not what happened. It's like you just say, I want identical what I have, all of that money, scoop it up, drop it in the next one. That's not what happened. What happened was Diana opens up another account, and then she has to go and instead of scooping up all that money, it doesn't happen. So you got this account with no money in it, the new one. And for some reason, there's a massive, you may have to have $1,500 balance on it, or you get an overdraft charge, which I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why would you agree to that? Huh? That's not like that with mine or anybody I know. What's going on here? What did you sign up for? And I'm like, come on, man. So she goes, well, I took care of it. What did you do? Well, I took from the existing account, the one that David and Kevin are on. He's got like $5,000 in there. We lifted $1,500 and put it in there so that there's no overdraft charge. And I'm like, well, first of all, there shouldn't be any overdraft charge. So that's a problem. That has to change. Second of all, why the fuck is there even any money in the first account? Take all that money, put it in a new account, and then that's it. Well, we're still waiting because he has to contact disability and his pension to get them to change it. Well, why aren't you? Well, we did call. It's been a month. I go, and it hasn't happened yet? No. I go, well, who just fucking hopes it's going to happen? Most people make the fucking call, and then, after a couple days, they do this thing. 2 words. It's called follow up. You call back. Hey, is everything in order? First of all, you check the account online. Is it in order? No? Call. Yeah, I'm just calling. I did this, and this. You have to do these things. It's called running out the fucking ground ball. Does it happen? No. Yeah, I'm calling to see. And so it's been a month. All right, so this is problem number 2. I don't know that any of this is going on. She brought it up to me about getting involved, and I'm like, well, it's kind of your baby. I mean, he's your brother. You're on the account. Can you do it? I've got 1,000,001 things going on here. I won't do that anymore. Then she says, I'm looking, fucking yesterday, I go to my bank, actually Sunday, and I look online, and I've got $137 in there, and I'm like, well, I'm fucking poor, but I know I have more than $137 in my checking account. So right away, I get all worried because I look at charges, and there's a $1,500 transfer. It says, funds transfer, $1,500. No other description. I'm like, what the fuck? Some Nigerian prince has my money now. There's no doubt I've just been scammed. So fear creeps across my heart. I'm like, Diane, I need you. She comes walking back in. I go, what the fuck? What is this? And she's like, oh, my, what? I don't know what happened. I called the bank, and I told you what she tried to do. And I don't know how, but they took it out of our account. I don't know how that happened. Now, that's a mystery. I can't go and lay the lumber on the accusation and just say, well, it's because you fucked up. I can't quite do that. I don't have enough information. Believe me, I want to. In my heart of hearts, I am hoping and praying that when we figure out this problem, which is not yet solved, they're going to say, yeah, here's public enemy number 1. This is what she did. Because then I can go, what the fuck? So, my God. That's weird. So all of that is happening. Today, I say to her, I go, look, you need to go. And then Columbus Day, which, by the way, side note, Columbus Day yesterday, and it's also Indigenous Peoples Day. Did you know that? That we do that now? That it's Columbus Day, which is weird, because that guy was like a rapist. And then, like, to counteract it, we have Indigenous Peoples Day. Just fucking wipe out Columbus Day. Do we really need who would be broken up with Columbus Day not being a thing? Anyway, all the banks are closed, so I'm left twisted in the wind. I have like $250 in my savings account. I transfer that shit into the checking account. I go, all right, nobody buy anything. Okay, we don't want anything bouncing, for God's sake, until Mom gets this sorted out. Holy shit. Today, she takes a little bit of time, goes in late to work. Her and Kevin have to drive to the bank and sort this out. So I'm like, yeah, you need to sort that out. And you need to also say what we signed up for is not what we wanted with this account with a $1,500 minimum. And then they charge you an overdraft fee if you drop below $1,500. What the fuck? Is this like a Jeff Bezos bank account, for God's sake? So she's working on that. And then there's the phone. Some of you who are listening in the audience, you know, I have a pretty tight relationship with a number of you. I have you on speed dial. I can look a lot of you folks, not most of you. That would mean I have like 10 listeners, which I have 15. I can reach out to you with a cell phone call because we've gotten that friendly, which is cool. I love that. And so with that comes plenty of friend requests on Facebook for me and for Diana. So that's cool too. So, Diana gets her new phone up and running yesterday. She, of course, dropped it in Lake Michigan, like I told you. And she is setting the damn thing up, and it's taking forever, but whatever. She's getting it done, making her way through it. And this kind of goes to the shit always gets, when there's any involvement in, I guess, tech-related or... I don't know how you would equate the bank thing to this, but I guess she was doing on the phone with the bank people, and God knows what she asked for to put her in the spot that she's in right now. But I don't know if she pays attention to when people are talking or when she's reading, because the next thing you know, she is complaining that her Facebook just got canceled, and she's and I'm like, what? And Jackie comes walking in. She goes, why did I just get a friend request from you, Mom? And Jackie and Mom says, well, I opened up Facebook, and the new phone deleted everything on my Facebook, so I have to start over. And Jackie kind of like is looking at her like she's crazy. And I'm listening to all this, and then she shows the phone to Jackie, and Jackie says, you've built a new Facebook profile. What? How did you do that? I don't know. Are you sure? Yeah. She tried to, I guess, I don't know how she did it. Again, just like I don't know how she opened up a bank account with a $1,500 limit. I don't know how she took our money out of our account, which is supposed to be coming from Kevin's account, to go into his other account. I don't know how these things happen. It's a fucking mystery how these things always happen. No idea what's going on. It's always, I don't know. I go, you're actually sending friend requests for a new account, because then I heard from no less than 5 people. Hey, I just got this from your wife. Is this a legit account? My God. Let's see. Hey, man. This is from Kenny. Hey, man. Did Diana have to make a new Facebook account? If not, someone's using her name, and I got a friend request from the new one. At this point, we figured out the mystery. She was fucking logged out. You get a brand new phone, of course you're going to be logged out, you fuck. She had to go and log in, and then there you go. And somehow she managed to make a new account under her name? What the fuck? How? How are you doing these things? I wrote, no, she's a dumb dick. She logged out of her Facebook and thought she had to make a whole new account for some reason. Yes, she actually did send you a new request. That was her. Ignore her. LOL, LOL, LOL. Oh my God, I'm glad I wasn't drinking anything, because I would have spit it out when you called her a dumb dick. My God. What is going on? Hey, Siri. Call Pooh.
Calling Pooh Mobile.
All right, I think she's at the bank right now.
Hello?
Hey, are you wrapped up at the bank?
I'm all done with the bank already.
Wow. Okay. Now, I was just getting the audience up to speed on your path of destruction in the last 36 hours.
Mm.
So
That's nice.
Yeah, well, I was just, chronicling everything.
So in other words, you threw me under the bus. That's what you're saying.
Well, there are definitely some glaring things that you needed to have some bus throwing happening in, like.
Well, on a high note, can I just give myself a pat on the back? It took me 10 minutes to get the bank stuff straightened out. You're $1,500 richer again. The other decision's taken care of, and we're good.
Does Kevin still have a bank account that has a $1,500 minimum with overdraft fees?
No, that's taken care of too.
Did the bank employees say?
But listen, that was not my fault at all, or Kevy's fault. What happened?
I know it's not Kevy's fault.
Listen to me. Shh, don't interrupt. The previous checking account was. Hang on. All right, Kevin.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you still there? Hold on a second. I got to put you on speaker. It freaked out on me. Okay, I'm back.
The previous checking account was set up that way, so they just assumed that we wanted to keep it that way. Like his old checking account with David was set up that way. For some strange reason. It's called an essential checking account or something, not a whatever.
All right, you're off the hook for that one then.
Yeah, I'm off the hook for that one.
Okay. What about when you realized that $1,500 came out of your account, which has nothing to do with it, did they give you any explanation as to what happened there, or did they just point the finger at you?
No, my friend Chris said the lady you talked to is a dummy because she should not have done that. She said she must have just pulled up your name because the lady I talked to on Saturday said, "Oh, well, your name is not on your brother's account, so I need your brother's permission." And I'm like, "Okay, well, he's sitting right here." And then,
did he give the phone the finger?
No, but he did get aggressive. But anyway, so then he goes, "Wait a minute, no." And he turned his computer screen around to me. He goes, "Your name is on his account. I have no idea what she's talking about." So she probably just looked up your name, saw your name on your personal account, and transferred that money, even though she was supposed to transfer it from the other account. So he goes, "I don't know what happened there."
All right, so that's two things you're off the hook for. That it's a good thing I didn't say anything insulting or anything like that before this phone call. That would have been awful because then I'd have to go backwards and take that back.
Right. Yeah, and I've had enough abuse from you for today.
Okay, let's talk Facebook. What the fuck happened on the Facebook yesterday?
Okay,
can you take me through that one?
Yeah. Okay. So after I got my phone set up, I clicked on the Facebook app, which was sitting on my phone still as an app. So I clicked on it, and it said, "Put in your password." So I put in my password, and then it came up with my Facebook, but it said I had no friends.
What? That's not supposed to be.
So I don't know what happened.
Okay, so that happened. So then why did you build a brand new Facebook account?
I didn't. The app did it for me. Because I didn't put in any of my profile information or anything. I didn't even put in my name.
It always seems like really mysterious, odd, unexplainable things happen to you.
I have the weirdest luck. It's so weird how things...
I don't know if it's luck. It always seems the one thing in common is you.
Okay, well, I gotta go now. Listen, I have never, ever claimed to be tech savvy. I know I'm tech illiterate. I admit that. I don't do computers. I don't do phones very well. I don't do whatever.
Yeah. All right.
That's just part of me. Okay. Take it or leave it.
I still love you.
Okay, well, I would hope so.
Okay.
I love you for your 1 million flaws.
Okay, you're allowed to name 3 flaws. Go ahead. I mean, go ahead and list me 3 flaws.
3 flaws.
Yeah, I'm owed 3 flaws.
Okay, you're an ass.
All right, if that's one of your flaws, okay.
You or accusatory.
Okay, accusatory, gotcha.
And I can't think of another one.
All right, when you let me know. Text it. I'll just read it. Okay.
I'm sure there's more though.
Yeah.
I just don't want to out you right now.
All right. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
I'm too nice.
Yes, you're a good lady. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Yes, ma'am. Love you. Bye.
Okay.
Yep.
I love you. Bye.
All right. There you go. So, all right. She seems to have fixed all those things. But, yeah, I got numerous people saying, hey, what's up with your wife? Is she getting hacked? No. Just disregard that, please. Yes, it is her. It is. Thank you for your concern. Thank you for reaching out. It's just, I don't know. I said to her, I go, you need to make a statement on your Facebook that says, hey, I didn't do anything. Whatever. No big deal. It wasn't, it was a mistake. Okay. Some cosmic shit went down yesterday, too. This was unbelievable. Her and I went to Best Buy to get a phone case for this damn phone. And first of all, I was paranoid that she was going to break the phone when it was not in a case. I almost was like, hey, let me hold on to it. I want to hang on to it because it would be so like you to break this thing, drop it when it has no case on it. And then, oh my God, there you go. We go in there. She's going to pick out a case. When we walk in, they have those stand-up video games that you like build. I think they're called one-up arcade games, whatever. And they got on display a Golden Tee game. And I go, shit, yeah, I'm going to play some Golden Tee. And then next to it are the boxed ones. And she walks up to it. And she goes, oh, my God, I could use this. I love Ms. Pac-Man. I want this for Christmas. And it's a Ms. Pac-Man one-up or arcade one, whatever the fuck it's called, video game. So I'm like, wow, that's funny. And yeah, like I'm probably not going to buy her that, but they were on sale. No big deal. Then it gets weird. I told you that interaction about an hour earlier with Kenny about the Facebook page. A short time later, Kenny texts me this. So, hey, there's a sale going on right now on HSN for these tabletop arcade one-ups. And it's a picture of Ms. Pac-Man. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly I know what's up. I wrote, hey. And then he wrote, Diana seemed to be really interested in playing Pac-Man games when I visited you. So I thought maybe you might want to grab one and tuck it away somewhere for Christmas or something. Just a thought. And I wrote, you fuckers. She just texted you, didn't she? And I sent him a screenshot of what was in the store. And he writes, what? Exclamation point, exclamation, question mark, exclamation point. She didn't text me. I'm lost. And I wrote, your text came in as I'm standing next to that at Best Buy. She just said how much she really wanted that like 1 minute ago. And he writes, really? Laughy emoji. That actually happened. Oh, my God. Some real cosmic shit going down. Oh, man. I'm like, yeah, sure. I know what you guys are doing. Right. As far as I know, maybe they were. But he seemed to be just as surprised as anybody. All right. One more thing before I get to the next thing I want to talk about. I meant to mention this yesterday. When I was up north, this actually happened. The trailer that I have up north, it's that really old one, that 1952 Pontiac Chief. This there's 3 kids that are on the property. My niece's kids. They're 8, 5, and 2. Okay, and I was a little bit thrown off because the 2-year-old wanted to leave, and I pick her up and I go, hey, did you go number 2 in your pants? And she goes, no. And I know she's potty trained, and there was some smell going on. I could sense something was wrong. Now, it turns out there may have just been some lingering odors stuck on the kid, or maybe she had one that was maybe a dingleberry or something like that had been causing the issue. But here's the problem. I walk into the trailer, and it's overwhelming. It's pure turd. And it's strong, and it's not a fart. It's not a dingleberry. There's a mass somewhere. So I'm like, well, one of the kids obviously took a shit on the floor, and one of the boys is there. The other one has walked out. I go, hey, did someone? What? I mean, and he's looking at. I go, did someone fart? And he goes, huh? I don't smell anything. I don't know. He's nose blind or what? It was terrible. It was, and this is not a big place. The whole damn trailer smells like shit, like a big pile of shit. Now, I should have said something. This is my fault. I go walking back as I'm getting closer to where the problem is, and I get to there's actually a bathroom in this trailer. There is no running water. I did not say anything that there was no running water. And yes, the kid did exactly what she's supposed to do, because she lifted up the lid of the toilet and she took an enormous, gnarly ass dump in the waterless toilet. And this toilet hasn't seen any action in decades. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Even just opening this thing is a bad idea. And there's a big dry. The toilet's dry. There's a dump right there, and I'm like, son of a bitch, man, come on. So this actually happened, and I right away went into damage control mode, and I'm actually going to ripcord and not tell you what I had to do to alleviate this issue, but it wasn't pleasant. There was some real. I had to call on my skill set of when I'm walking the dogs, all right, and they take care of business on the neighbor's lawn. I had to engage this turd in that way. Turd engagement on the business end of this little girl's BK broiler from the day before is no fun. And oh man, oh God, and so yeah. Somehow managed to fix it and turn on every fan, opened every door, and I didn't say a word to anyone. I'm just like, oh, God, pretend this didn't happen. And they're like, hey, why are you leaving the doors open on your trailer? Oh, a little stuffy, I don't know. Just want to circulate the air. It's a little funky. No big deal. Holy crap. All right, thanks again to F45 Training. They're in Byron Center, Michigan. Their website, f45training.com/Byron Center. If you're in that neck of the woods, call upon them to get your workout in. I will be there next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. getting a workout in. I will do it on Facebook Live so you can see it. You'll be able to check that out with my friends at F45 Byron Center. Man, this is the type of workout where, first of all, it's 45 minutes long. It's how you get that there. And then F is for functional. The things you're doing, my God, they're the type of it's the type of workout that if you're a newbie, you've never done it before, you're going to be able to get the workout in. Okay, you're going to do your best and get all the movements in based on how well you do, but they'll get you through the entire workout. But this same workout is being done by people who have been working out for years. Okay, it is a group setting with a personal touch, and you can work out there for free if you go to their website, f45training.com/Byron Center. Thank you. Gun School is coming up on November 7th. That is with retired U.S. Army Major Steve Prince. That's a Saturday. Class starts at 8 a.m. Call up Prince. Reach out to him. Actually, the easiest way to do this is to go to my website, ericzaneshow.com, and just click where it says Prince Army, and that will take you to his Facebook page. From there, the events portion will tell you the next class, and you can get the tickets right there on Steve Prince's Facebook page. It's $125 to take the class. You're going to have range time when you're there. You're going to shoot a little bit. You do not need a gun. You just walk in. Okay, that's all you need is your brain and your time. If you want to carry a pistol concealed, and a lot of people these days do, I do. I have for a long time. This is step one. Once you get this done, nothing else can happen until you take this class in the great state of Michigan. Other states, not so much. But in Michigan, you have to do it this way. The class is $125 with Steve, and then you're all set. He gives you the certification that you completed the class, and then you go and get your license. All right. That is November 7th with Prince Arming. Call Steve at 616-204-1705. These folks got some love on Karl's podcast on Who Are These Podcasts? A&D Cleaning. Yes, I do have a sponsor that is A&E Heating and Cooling. And yes, there is one called A&D Cleaning. The joke was made. Eric's just going down the phone book. Fuck. 616-550-3644. If you want your home cleaned, they'll clean Stuttering John's house. They can clean your house. 616-550-3644. Call Amy for an estimate about cleaning your place in West Michigan. 616-550-3644. Okay. So, Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Cowboys, that was just horrific when he broke his ankle. I think one of the things about Dak Prescott of the Cowboys breaking his ankle was the ease at which it broke. I mean, God, we were not made to play that game. It's a miracle that doesn't happen every single play. Somebody has something really, really heinous happen to them. And every year we can always count on some terrible things happening. So the old compound fracture on national television happened. That was rough. It immediately, you could see it was facing a way that it's not. That's always the worst. There's two terrible things. When the body part is pointed in a direction that it's not supposed to go, I've never gotten used to it. It's always like, what the fuck? I take it back. I've actually gotten a little bit more accustomed to or watching it because it's just so cringeworthy. But at the same time, it's like a train wreck. I just can't look away. Before, I could never watch it at all. The first time I ever saw this, somebody break their leg in half, was Joe Theismann when he broke one of his sticks on Monday Night Football. Never played football ever again. Awful. So Prescott has that happen. Bone sticking out. Didn't go through the skin, but it's all weird. He's crying. This is the same guy who was Skip Bayless. That's who it was, who made the shitty comments about him last month, saying, yeah, she's showing weakness by admitting that he was struggling with some mental health issues, which was just so screwed up. So, all right, nobody in the world is going to say anything terrible about Dak Prescott being hurt. I mean, the guy just broke his ankle. He had successful surgery, by the way. He'll be out 4 to 6 months, and then, all right, hopefully be back and good as new, right? After it happened, Awful Announcing reported that of all the people to say something stupid, Tony Dungy, who is like one of the sweetest people on the planet, who doesn't have anything bad to say about anyone. What? Tony Dungy said something shitty? Yeah, he absolutely said something shitty. This is Tony Dungy right after Dak Prescott breaks his leg.
He always kind of smiles through adversity here.
And you know what? As tough as this is for Dak Prescott, it might be a blessing in disguise for the Cowboys. They've got a good veteran quarterback who can make some plays, and this might cause them to get back to their old formula.
What? So Dak Prescott hears that him breaking his leg is a blessing in disguise for the Dallas Cowboys? Tony Dungy might as well have said, well, it's a good thing for Dallas that he broke his ankle because he's shitty, in my opinion, and Andy Dalton is a better quarterback.
He always kind of smiles through adversity here.
And you know what? As tough as this is for Dak Prescott, it might be a blessing in disguise for the Cowboys. They've got a good veteran quarterback who can make some plays, and this might cause them to get back to their old formula.
Okay. He didn't mean to say that. And first of all, what's the other guy's name? Chris Sims is also in there with him. He used to play. He's a journeyman quarterback. He sucked, but he's pretty good at doing TV shit. Why don't TV people say, hold up, what do you mean by that? Did you want to say that it was a blessing in disguise because you realize what you realize you're saying it's a good thing Dak Prescott broke his ankle if you're Dallas. That's what you just said. So, I mean, Tony Dungy, he does public speaking tours all over the world, talking about God and shit like that. How the fuck could you possibly do that? How? I guess that if in a perfect world, Chris Sims says, hey, dude, what are you doing? And they actually have the discussion right there. Tony Dungy says in his tweet from one day ago, blessing in disguise was a poor choice of words by me. It is not a blessing for Dak. What I meant was that for the Cowboys, the season is not over. Well, why didn't you just say that? How the fuck did you do that? Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. Why didn't you just say, well, it's terrible that Dak Prescott is hurt, but Andy Dalton is a fine quarterback, and he's probably going to step up. I know hindsight being what it is, but I don't know how he did it. Andy Dalton is very capable in changing the focus back to Elliott and could help the defense, but I feel very badly for Dak. He gets a pass. He's Tony Dungy. No big deal. Okay, Bill Burr was on Saturday Night Live, and I kind of wish I would have talked about this with Karl, but it would have caught him off guard. Maybe he didn't even see it, but I think Karl has reviewed Bill Burr's podcast, and that's something, if that is true, that I must listen to, because I, for one, doing my podcast and doing his podcast, I'm like, how the fuck is this one of the most listened to podcasts in America? Bill Burr consistently is a top 20 show. And this show sucks so much dick. It quite literally is just him looking around the room, which Karl accused me of doing. I would have to say fuck you to that. Bill Burr just goes, oh my God, hey, how are you today? Yeah, it's a Bill Burr. It's a Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Friday, Monday morning podcast. And look at this quarter. Holy shit. Fucking George Washington. Fuck you, you filthy. See you next Tuesday. He throws that word around so much, I just can't do it. This pen. Black ink. Black Lives Matter. Fuck you, pen, you filthy. See you next Tuesday. Fuck you. Logitech mouse. Go fuck yourself, Logitech. Fuck you. Fuck me. See you next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. It's fucking terrible. The show sucks so much dick. It's unbelievable. I like Bill Burr's stand-up. I like Bill Burr when he's interviewed. Fuck, he was on Rogan's show. It was great. Bill Burr doing a podcast. The world does not need that. I don't know how the fuck he pulls it off. The show sucks so bad. He's on SNL. Now, I don't totally blame him. I blame the writers. People who write for SNL. There is so many shitty writers on that show. They can't do a fucking bit to save their lives. I can't do any better, but that's not my job. The show is so terrible. The idea behind the bit for Bill Burr was this. And Kenan Thompson can't fucking act, and the woman who's on there, she can't act. Burr's the only one with it seems to have the ability to actually carry out with any type of acting acumen whatsoever in this bit. I'll give him that. But the idea for the bit is similar to when Tony Dungy is on the set of his NFL show. Bill Burr is like the guy who's got the hot take. The woman is the one presenting the sports show. I don't know who the fuck she is. And Kenan Thompson is the former player who's got an opinion about the game based on his experience. Okay. They introduced this fake skit or the show, and that's the skit or the sketch. Bill Burr's all excited, his character, because, hey, the Bears won. He's happy that the Bears won. So he's like stoked about that. And I guess he had a bet with Kenan Thompson, and Thompson is subdued, and so is the woman. Listen to this.
Good morning. Welcome to the Blitz. I'm Michelle Compton. With me, as always, is Hall of Fame receiver Kevin Cash Dozier and the incomparable Gil Scott. How are you, gentlemen?
Well, I've been better, Michelle.
I'll tell you, I am fired up today, Michelle, because how about them Bears?
Okay, I see Gil is excited to talk about Chicago's win over Tampa.
No. That wasn't just a win. That was a statement to the rest of the NFL. And I specifically remember my esteemed colleague, Mr. Hall of Famer here, not only called me a stupid idiot for believing.
I guess my question for Burr when he does these stupid bits is, I mean, you're going along with it, but do you have any input on these? I mean, the whole thing sucks. There's nothing funny about it.
Chicago, but you even bet me a steak dinner at Lombardo's that they'd lose. And don't even try weaseling out of it either, like you always do.
Okay, all right. Gil seems very happy here.
Oh, I am more than happy. Last night was like the best night of my life. I'm going to put my Bears gear on here, huh? I haven't eaten all day to make room for that steak you owe me, buddy. Oh, I see Mr. Quiet over there doesn't have much to say, do you?
Okay, now there hasn't been one bit yet. There's no element to comedy whatsoever. It's still setting up. This bit takes forever to fucking set up.
Okay, you look like you're about ready to cry or something, huh?
No, I didn't actually watch the game.
Oh, I bet you didn't. It's because you owe me a steak.
Well, as I was saying...
That doesn't make sense. He didn't owe him the steak before the game, you fucking dummy.
I didn't watch the game after hearing about Kareem Jenkins, the black man who was shot by police last night. It was a terrible tragedy.
Yeah, me neither, Kevin. Football.
So I get it. Okay, now I understand. Bill Burr's happy. They are not. The two black hosts are not happy because of what happened. They don't feel like watching football. Bill Burr's going to backpedal now on what he watched. Uh-oh, let the hilarity begin.
Sports in general, everything just feels so small after yesterday's tragedy.
Yeah, I totally agree, Michelle. All I could watch was the news coverage of the ongoing protests and riots.
Oh, yeah, and that speech from his parents was truly heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, that was heartbreaking.
But Gil, since you watched the game last night,
I watched some of the game, but I was flipping back and forth between the news, but I was mostly watching the news.
Well, you're a stronger man than I am, Gil, because I couldn't stomach 1 second of football last night.
I went out and spoke with some protesters.
And just to be clear, there was a ticker score at the bottom of the news. I mean, that's what I was watching. And you know what? I think I should just take this crap off.
Actually, I'm sorry to cut you off, Gil, but I just have to say this into the camera. As a black man, I want to know...
Okay, I can't take anymore. Yeah, so that goes on and on and on. I'm like, come on, man. Holy fuck. I don't know. I usually don't watch Saturday Night Live, but it boggles my mind when people like a Bill Burr are actually involved in stupid sketches like this. When was the last time anything that was, when you watch SNL, you see they made a big deal about the whole debate with Jim Carrey and fucking Alec Baldwin doing Trump, and I'm over the whole presidential thing. The whole thing sucks. I can't really get into anything on SNL these days. Hey, thanks again to Blue Frost IT, 616-200-8550, the managed IT service provider for the Eric Zane Show podcast. If you get in the weeds, technically, you got to have that service team ready to go. I can't afford that. Yes, you can. Call them, get an estimate. Blue Frost IT, 616-200-8550, the managed IT service provider. So basically, when you sign up, you're going to pay one fee per month, and then they're always on the ready. And they're going to give you the checkups each month, make sure everything is running in tip-top condition. If anything happens along the way, you can call upon them, and they will help you out during the month. It's not like you get a set amount of time that you can only utilize. Some places do it that way, not Blue Frost IT. 616-200-8550 for all of your tech. Kent County Health Department's there for you, man. They've got 4 COVID testing stations in and around West Michigan. Reach out to them about where they are. AccessKent.com/health. 616-632-7100. And don't forget, get your kids all the vaccinations that they need. Measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, pertussis, meningitis, HPV. All of those things are important. You let that slide, you have a chance of your kids not going to be healthy. Kent County Health Department, thank you. Shoreliners Stripes parking lots. Okay, thanks to them. If you are in need, go to shorelinerstriping.com. The first impression is key at your business. Make sure the parking lot looks good. Shorelinerstriping.com in West Michigan. Okay, tell me if you can pick out the problem here with this. This is a meteorologist in Nashville, Tennessee.
Stronger cold front arrives Thursday. So you've got a chilly, sunny Tuesday, a warm Wednesday, right around 80, but then that stronger The cold front comes through Thursday.
What? I did. Huh?
Stronger cold front arrives Thursdays. You've got a chilly, sunny Tuesday, a warm Wednesday, right around 80, but then that stronger cold front comes through Thursday.
Yeah, who? She said stronger cunt.
But then that stronger
Oh.
But then that stronger
That is Bree Smith. I was tipped off. Kenny in Nashville. Thank you very much. Bree Smith is talking about
But then that stronger
Yeah, it's strong woman, I guess. What? A stronger cunt. Oh, God, I even hate saying it.
Stronger cold front arrives Thursdays. You've got a chilly, sunny Tuesday, a warm Wednesday, right around 80, but then that stronger cold front comes through Thursday.
So nobody talked about it. I didn't see it anywhere. I've talked about it here. But, I mean, if you're her, I wonder if in the room they're, like, quiet or, they leave, they go to commercial. Well, does she act like no one noticed? Does anybody bring it up? Hey, Bree, you said there's a stronger cunt coming through. And then she's like, oh, God, holy shit. Do you realize even what you said? Slip of the tongue, no big deal. Or does she say, oh, my God, I cannot believe it. I'm going to be on YouTube. No, don't worry. You're only featured on this show. Nobody's watching. The name Dar Leaf has been popping up. Who the fuck is Dar Leaf? First of all, the name. Dar Leaf. First name Dar, D-A-R. Last name Leaf. The community is Barry County. Not that far from here. This is kind of a rural setting. This asshole is the sheriff of Barry County. Michigan is the domestic terror capital of the United States. Where I live, we have the highest concentration of fucking domestic terrorist assholes, okay? All these scumbag militia groups that sit around with their fucking long guns and they show up at all these events protesting shit. These are the scumbags that I'm talking about. Fuck all of these guys. And fuck this sheriff, too. This asshole is the guy who, when there was one of those stupid rallies they had, Patriot rallies, don't tread on me rallies, that bullshit, downtown, he goes on stage and is spewing his political rhetoric, and maybe he doesn't know it, but he's arm in arm with these scumbag domestic terrorists who plotted to fucking kidnap and kill the governor of Michigan. How'd you like to be this guy? Okay, now if I'm Dar Leaf and and this thing all unfolds late last week, and I'm distancing myself from these guys, but he's so stupid, he's actually doubling down. The pictures circulate of Dar next. And by the way, these guys, when it comes to our military, our actual military, they're in peak physical shape. Every single one of these militia fucks are the fattest pieces of shit you've ever seen. Their bodies, their arms stick out. They're round, okay? And the arms kind of like hang on their sides of fat that hang off of their body. And so it's really disgusting to look at, all the body types. None of them are in shape. I doubt the reason why they hang their guns is that I doubt they could even lift them up. Okay, these are not combat fit individuals. In fact, if they were actually went through with their kidnapping, Governor Whitmer could probably kick all of their asses if it actually happened. Leaf is on stage with this ensemble of fat fucks, and the picture is snapped, and then it turns out that two of these fat bastards, who they're so fat, they actually look alike, okay? And Leaf is standing next to him like, yeah, here you go. I love these guys. Well, they pointed it out to him. They go, hey, fucker, what do you say now? And he's like, well, that's just a charge. Anybody can levy a charge. He's like doubling down, and he's trying to like pin it back on the governor. This guy is a guy you don't want as the sheriff. And now people are speaking out saying, he can't, but he's an elected official. I mean, it's his fucking job. And he's running right now, okay, for sheriff. And that election comes up on election day. And sure as shit, this guy's running unopposed. Son of a bitch. Well, somebody's got to run, man.
Efforts are underway to remove the sheriff. Sheriff Dar Leaf was seen at multiple rallies with men now charged in the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer. Some citizens feel the sheriff is encouraging the violent behavior and they no longer feel safe. News 8's Heather Walker has more on the push to unseat the sheriff.
So concerns of violence from counter-protesters caused a protest calling for the sheriff's resignation to be canceled. Still, some people are speaking to the county commission tomorrow, placing a formal request for the sheriff to resign.
Vocal fry
People
there.
are afraid. People are afraid of retribution from Dar Leaf and his friends.
What do you mean his friends?
I am talking about the people he associates with. The militia groups.
These images from a rally in Grand Rapids back in May have some Barry County residents, including newly elected Hastings Township trustee Scott Savage, concerned. The sheriff is seen here on stage with two of the men now charged with domestic terrorism for the plot to kidnap and kill the governor. At that time, he was...
Yeah, I think the whole idea of him being on stage with them and no one seems to care. I mean, the people that live... I mean, it's a perfect example of how where I live, you get such a wide array of opinions on things. There are a lot of people who actually support this guy.
She's killed more people. Killed the governor. At that time, he was criticizing people calling the men domestic terrorists.
Because next time Hillary Clinton calls these guys domestic terrorists, she's killed more people than you have.
Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about how many people Hillary Clinton has killed or where you even came up with that. Maybe that's true. I have no idea. Maybe she's responsible for that. But these guys... Seriously, you're on stage with domestic terrorists, so don't act like that's not true. Listen to all these fucking idiots, man. Not one attractive person there. Holy shit. All fat and ugly.
He's empowering them. He's enabling them. And he's encouraging them to do more. And how much more are they going to do?
It's called the militia.
And Leaf's a fucking obese idiot, too.
How regulated going at that? These beautiful men up here.
Sheriff Leaf publicly supports the militia and is part of a constitutional sheriffs and peace officers association. Residents of his county are worried if they have different political views, they won't be protected. Savage says men identified as militia members showed up to a recent unity rally. There was no violence, but he says he felt threatened by their presence.
Anyone that doesn't agree with them, they get out their long guns, they show up, and they try to intimidate. Yeah. That's a form of terrorism.
Savage is worried about retaliation for speaking out tomorrow, but he says that fear won't stop him.
All right, now he's starting to cry. You don't need to start crying.
Now I'm getting emotional.
Said guy who cries every podcast.
You sound like a goddamn pussy to me.
We made multiple attempts to get a response from the sheriff today. We did not hear back. He's running unopposed in November. At the live desk, Heather Walker, News 8.
My God. Where do I live? Shit. Oh, God, it just disgusts me knowing that these scumbags are out there. Man, is that awful. A lot of those guys are facing life imprisonment. Imprisonment. God, I can't say words today. Clearly, I've been doing this too long. I want you to be a show contributor, fans. If you have any, or friends, if you have any stories that you want me to cover on the show, please send them along. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. I appreciate that. Anything you can do, story lead, I'll check it out. If I use it, great. If I don't, please don't feel bad. Thank you for helping in the past. Reach out, Eric@ericzaneshow.com. I got a mortgage guy. That's the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, 231-332-6505. If you need a mortgage, that's who I want you to call. Call upon some other people too, but make Mario part of that process. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. And if you want, I'll introduce you to Mario myself. Okay? I say that because occasionally People have reached out, and they're like, I can't reach him. He's too busy. I'll take care of it. Reach out to me. 231-332-6505. We had Diana on the show earlier, brought to you by Baldwin Ace Hardware, bringing you my Queen of the Forest segments with Diana. Thank you, Baldwin Ace Hardware. Up north. Of course, wrapping up a year of, it's kind of a weird year. You know, they depend on tourism up there, and it's just been nutty. If you're heading out to your hunting abode and hanging out, doing your thing at deer camp, when that opens up, Baldwin Ace Hardware, thank you to them, on the edge of the Manistee National Forest in Baldwin, Michigan. And last but not least, Stella Fly. If your business is not utilizing Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram appropriately, you are losing business, okay? You might be like, well, I just don't have time to get that done. There is hope for you, okay? What you do is you call on Stella Fly. Stella Fly does it all for you. STELLA fly.com. They can set you up with a plan, and they can do it for you. Make sure that the internet is your friend with social media and getting the word out, because you're busy trying to build your business. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Thank you to my friends at Stella Fly. Okay, let's end on this note. This guy, wow, thank God he got caught, and hopefully nobody's going to get hurt. John Hayworth. And if you're anybody in and around Portland, Maine, this is a warning. You might not want to eat a certain brand of pizza. Okay? This guy is in trouble. He was busted, thank God. John Hayworth apparently was mad about something. And he went and started to take razor blades, and he would cut up razor blades and put them into the pizza dough that was then sold to customers. According to the Saco or Saco Police Department, Saco, or Saco, which one is it? In and around Maine. The incident occurred October 6th at a Hannaford supermarket near to both Kennebunkport and Portland. And yeah, dude was like tampered with the food. Customer had reportedly purchased a Portland pizza pie dough. So you buy the dough and you make the pizza at home. And later found an undisclosed number of razor blades inside the product, according to police. The store launched their own investigation and reviewed store security surveillance footage, led them to Nicholas R. Mitchell. They caught the guy tampering with the packaging of several Portland pizza pie doughs. He used to work at a place called It'll Be Pizza Company. Who manufactures product for Portland Pie. So it sounds like a disgruntled employee wanted to harm the business by putting razor blades in their products at any expense, hurting people? What? Man, that's twisted. Authorities, immediately released a physical description of Mitchell as well as a description of his car and an appeal to the public to help them track down the dude as quickly as possible. They were able to do that like 2 hours later in Dover, New Hampshire. This evening, the Dover, New Hampshire Police Department located Nicholas Mitchell and took him into custody on the outstanding warrant. There you go, Patriot Nick. So they ended up getting the guy. It's unclear, though, how many batches of dough the guy tampered with. So there's like a full recall out. And if you're in that area, don't eat that product. Stay away from that product. Hannaford Supermarkets issued a recall for all Portland Pie cheese and Portland Pie fresh dough sold in the deli department. My God, how fucked up do you have to be to do something like that? My God. All right, folks, I am running out of time, talent, and energy. I will be back after I regroup on Patreon. There you go. The Eric Zane Show podcast is in the books for Tuesday. Actually, at about 10:30, I've got another edition of Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia live on Patreon. Zaniac Matt in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania will be taking on Dale for cash. Brought to you by Bennett Flooring Installation. That comes up at 10:30. Check that out, and I'll talk to you then on Patreon. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.